Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to National Matters. I'm your pastor, Pastor Moses Chilwa. Of course, in the studio, I have the Honorable Minister of Commerce, Mr. CHIPOKA MULENGA. And I must say that he has just traveled all the way from Copperbelt to come and feature here. I honor you, sir. Welcome to the program.
I am very privileged to be in your midst, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
And even if it's Copperbelt, to me, trust me, it's a privilege, and I feel very much blessed to be in your midst.
I am so grateful that even your wife and the family are seeing you through this program for you not having reached home.
I am grateful. Thank you very much, and good evening.
You are a member of parliament for which
Chingola constituency. Chingola constituency.
Okay.
Yeah, Chingola has got two constituencies. One is Chingola constituency, the other one is Inchanga constituency.
Okay.
For me, it is Chingola constituency.
Chingola?
Yes.
And Inchanga is not in Chingola?
In Inchanga, Chingola is a district. But it has got two constituencies. One constituency is called the Inchanga constituency, then the other one is called the Chingola constituency.
Who is the MP for Inchanga?
It is my dear brother Derek Chilundika.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Honorable, let's get started. Welcome once again. How did you get into politics? Who is the Honorable CHIPOKA MULENGA? Are you married or not? Before I start marketing my own
That's a good one.
And you know, being a pastor, I need to have you explain to the nation.
Indeed. Well, I am very grateful that I'm here once again, and I can assure you from a very young age, I think during the Second Republic, I used to watch you from home when I was quite a young man, and that's why I say I feel privileged to be in your midst today, Pastor, because I've seen you stand in the faith for way back in time, from way back in time. And during President Chilwa, may he rest in peace, your namesake, when you were there, and you could even take on the government, challenge them based on Bible principles. And you've stood. We've seen many men of God have stood. With time, they've fallen. We don't know where they are. But look, I look up to you, and I feel privileged that you are still standing in the faith, and God is here to use you as a testimony of his greatness. So I feel privileged. So now to say about who I am the fifth born son of Mr. and Mrs. Mulenga. My father is Aston Mulenga. He's a mechanical engineer, retired miner, running his own SME now from as far back as 2000.
Is he still alive?
Very much alive.
And your mother?
Yes. My father was born in 1949. My mother was born in 1954. Yes. So they are there together living in Muflira, and they have 7 children, of which I am the 5th one. Yes, I lived all my life in Muflira until a time when I left Muflira to go to university at Copperbelt University, joined the mines, Konkola Copper Mines, where I worked for a period of 15 years. I am married to a young lady I met at university, Copperbelt University. She's an electrical engineer. She's still working for Konkola Copper Mines. Yeah, she's busy doing her PhD in electrical. She's so passionate about her electrical engineering. And between her and I, God has blessed us with twins, a boy and a girl. Yes, they are for 13 years old.
To my knowledge, I'm the only Pentecostal pastor who is a Shimpund. I know they are there.
Shimpund, and those are the 2 only children God has blessed us with. And I am a firm believer in the faith of Christ. I'm a Christian and I'm an elder in the UCZ Church. I congregate to St. Mark's congregation in Chingola. Yes, and that's where I was even congregating yesterday. And during my working career, you know, I have followed many political leaders, and I have watched from a distance and learned a lot from them. Even a time when I was saying that I was quite a young man, but drew a lot of admiration in the Second Republican president, including Bakaunda Ben. Even when I was growing up, I drew a lot of lessons, learned, and see the infrastructure development, the vision he had, the plan. I studied it and learned it, including the Second Republican president, the third Levy Mwanawas, among many others. And I started to be very passionate about politics. And what made me to be very passionate about politics was, okay, it was just a natural thing. I was just being drawn into listening to governance issues, leaders among many others. But what now made me just make a decision to say I should join politics was an even distribution of wealth in our country. I was working, I had been very privileged. My father, in his struggles as a miner, the 7 of us, he made sure he provided everything we needed within the resources that
Your father and mother?
Yes, both of them, my father and mother. But when I left my parents' home, I started living on my own. I was very lucky. When I just left university, I got a very good job in the mining sector. Because I think that time they were looking for mine surveyors. We were very scarce. So they employed us and gave us very good conditions of service. So the difference, and the time when I was promoted, the difference between me and my immediate subordinate was huge. I was dollar paid. Then, if I convert the dollars into kwacha, the one below me was getting about 9,000 to 10,000 kwacha. I was getting about 4 times or more than that. And again, the frustration came in because the kind of job I was doing was accounting for minerals, what we have gotten and what we have not gotten. But when I see reports are happening by political leaders and figures, it was quite a huge discrepancy. And these are people, because during the time of service, you start rising up. And as you rise in the private sector, you start interacting with politicians. So when you ask them, but I saw you report this, but this is not the figures you produced. They'll ask you to say, keep quiet. But I couldn't keep quiet. I couldn't feel content, and I couldn't feel okay to keep quiet. So it's among the things that I just said, no. I need to voice out for the people in my country. I need to do what we can to provide. And my mother asked me a question to say, son, why do you want to go into politics? When you have everything you need. You have good conditions of service where you can walk into a showroom, buy a brand new car. At the end of the year, you can save and go take your family for a holiday to a place of your choice. Why are you going to do this? I said, Mayo, it is not good enough that I'm the only one having this. Look at the people reporting below me, including others in my circles, maybe in the family. If we just made policies right enough to say everybody can have access to this, nobody will be looking to the next for provisions. Because everybody's putting in their best. So it is that, among many other things, even in our communities, I could see things, people are not having access to things that they can easily have, but because the powers that be are not provided. So it really compelled me, maybe I should be part of the governance system and now do that which I hope to do. I do that and provide that which I wish to see happening. So it is among the reasons that drove me into this, to see that servitude is to mankind, humanity, among many others. I should do it. And the other challenge, I should tell you this, and it's very interesting that I'm speaking to the pastor. You know, people, even within the church flock, would say, if this is sinful, it is dirty. But I came to realize one thing: leadership comes from God.
Absolutely.
We keep saying that it is dirty because we've allowed the dirty-minded to be in.
Absolutely.
So even when I'm in politics, I can assure you, I represent the kingdom of God.
Absolutely.
So even the way I carry myself, I should carry myself worthy of a life that is going to be inspiring to others to say, indeed, Christians can be in it. In my political dispensation, I've refused to engage in insults and things like that. I have to speak with a voice of reason. And that will be inspiring. And that will be attracting many, even young people, even old people that are believers and say, this is the right way to go. So I must say that even during the time of my campaigns and my election to be member of parliament, I had a lot of support from the church. The Catholics, the UCZ, the Pentecostals, including, for your information, including the Muslim community.
Oh, really?
Because where I come from, we have got a word that we call Chuempala. Right there in Chuempala ward, there is a mosque. This is a mosque where there is a serious water challenge in my constituency. So we keep pushing the water utility company to provide water. Most people who have dug wells and boreholes, they restrict it to themselves. But the mosque was open to everyone to get water. So I was moved, and then I went to congregate with them. I went to listen to them, and I saw they were providing for everyone. So even them, they were among the people that even came to support so much in this. So I strongly believe that we have to live to serve.
So, Honorable Minister, I am so glad to hear that testimony and what you have held on to. I am so glad to say, because I always tell people that if someone knows his God, politics are a good game.
Thank you.
Because the Bible says the righteous, when they are in authority, when the righteous are in authority, people rejoice. But when the wicked are in authority, people mourn. I'm a firm believer, me.
Yes.
I'm a pastor and I don't apologize for my beliefs. If you in Chingola, you are a believer, and the one in Chiwempala is not a believer, I'm just giving an example. In Changa,
yes,
you are UPND in Chingola, and in Changa has a UNIP who is a believer. And the UPND, do you know that I can come and campaign, decampaign the UPND who is not a believer? That's
because you want a believer to be at the helm. Because the Bible is clear.
You and another man in another party, you will not insult each other. You will look at yourselves as believers. This is how I take politics.
That's right.
I can't say because it's PF, UPND, UNIP. Me, I would decampaign any person who does not have a pastor. I've said it here before.
Yes.
I kept on saying this even in UNIP time. May he so rest in peace. That's one of the reasons why he called me to State House, because I put my foot down.
Yes.
I said there is no way between a person who has no pastor, no bishop, and somebody who goes to church. Our campaign, so 2026, I'll go around the nation.
No, but now coming to where I am, you may wonder, but why the UPND? Earlier when I was not a member of the UPND. Because even when I was working, I was working for KCM, this very well-paying job. But I still never believed in what the PF did. So the company I was working for, because the former owners of KCM, and then owners, in my opinion, they had like a collusion with the PF. Because anything that we thought should be done to develop the mine was never happening. But we could see this mine owner ends up at State House, he promises billions of dollars, nothing comes. But the mine kept shrinking. So I was so loud in my speeches to say, this is wrong, this is wrong. So the ministers who were there, they orchestrated for my dismissal. But the CEO who was there, he was a white man. He said, I cannot dismiss this person because I've got no grounds on which I would dismiss him for. He's punctual at work, his performance is good and everything. So to punish me, they took me from Chingola, took me to a very remote place in Nampundwe, where they thought I had no access to TVs, radios and everything. But God just drew me now closer to Cabinet TV. Because in Chingola there is no television studio. Brought me to Cabinet TV, among many others. It is from a TV station where President HH watched me, in opposition, where also the PF watched me. The same TV interview, which got me terminated, I was declared redundant at the retired national interest at 38.
My goodness.
The same TV interview that got me out is the same TV interview that the president
promoted
watched,
you.
And here I am. So now you may ask a question. I had this interview, meeting with the president, then in opposition, President HH, from his home. So he looked at me and I said, young man, I watched it. Because you remember that time of Bioten? We were debating Bioten. So I think he got very interested in how I debated Bioten, because there were either other prominent politicians. So he sent for me. He sent somebody to engage me. I sat at his home and he said, what do you want to do for yourself? You're very young and you have been kicked out of employment. Because then I was in NDC with Dr. Kambwe. But Dr. Kambwe decided to join the PF, a decision that I said I cannot do. He respected my decision, I respected his decision. So I said I will go and contest my seat in Chingola as an independent, but I will campaign for Waka in the HLM. People asked a question to say, and others to say, why are you going to join Hakainde Hichilema? Hakainde Hichilema is a Satanist. Hakainde Hichilema has sowed the mines. Hakainde Hichilema is a tribalist. But this Satanist, this tribalist, this seller of mines, which I worked for, summoned me. So when I sat with him, we had a very candid chat. One thing that I like about that man is he's a listener. I talked for a long time, like an hour, and he was just busy listening to me. I had several questions for him. Pastor, I was so challenged. I said, Mr. President, people say you're a Satanist, you're doing this. And he said, okay, fine. CHIPOKA, I am the only one with a non-church. And I'm an elder at SDA. All these presidential candidates, tell me one whom you know the church which they go to, including the cabinet president. Which church does he go to? Tell me. I was challenged, Pastor. And when I looked at him, and I said, this man is so innocent, but politics can make somebody dark. We went to the issue of selling of the mines. He said, look, I don't even know how much they were selling the asset. All I did was to evaluate, and I gave a report and walked away. They paid me. Because the money they paid me, I invested into planting maize, bringing cattle, they multiply, they say I'm a thief. The same job even others were given, but they invested in taverns and bars. It never gives return on investment. We went on to many different aspects of tribalism. When I was talking to him, but he said, but you are MULENGA, you are CHIPOKA MULENGA. Why am I talking to you? You think you're the best there is? If I was a tribalist, I could have gone for my tribesmen in Chingola. By the way, Pastor, in Chingola, under the UPND, they had 6 candidates who were going for that. So he said, why haven't I gone for them? But I've got for you. So it was so dispelled. And he said, you know, one thing I liked about him, even now that I've come to appreciate, other than being a good listener, the man is a promise keeper. When I was there, and he told me, look, if I form cabinet, a young man like you, I appoint you and I send you to the public to go and represent us. With vision and with value, with quality, even people will respect our government. Look, when I won the election past as MP, I didn't even think that I would be appointed because I was so content as MP. I saw it on TV. I saw my wife coming running to say, honey, you have been appointed as minister. I was with one of my former workmates who is a senior manager in the mines. We knelt down and prayed and thanked God, Mr. Shabi Sachinda. So that's why I was appointed. And up to now, he's been very consistent, focused with a vision, how we can repair the economy, how we can focus on, how he's bringing the country together by different people from corners of the country to work together. And I realized one thing, just coming back to the words that I had with him, when he was telling me about, you are MULENGA CHIPOKA that I've called. If I was a tribalist, why haven't I called my tribesmen here? When you look at our cabinet, Pastor, you may not have paid attention to it. Then I was ashamed sometime when I saw somebody complaining to say, no, look at the appointments he's doing. Pastor, cabinet has got 25 ministers. 9, or should I say 9, maybe let me just say 10 if I am to include the vice president. Count us. And look at the portfolios we have in a Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. It's a portfolio of affairs which I feel very privileged, and at this age that I'm managing and I'm working and learning a lot from many people. Go to the Ministry of Mines, Nichanda Kabusu. Go to the Ministry of Energy, Chiwe Kapala. Go to the Ministry of Science and Technology, Varitawa Mutati. Go to the Ministry of Community Development, our sister Vadorin Mwamba, and many others. The Vice President herself. Go to sports, you will find Kulinkandu. Go to small and medium enterprises, Kuli Mubanga. So then I realized, he's bringing the whole corners of the country have been brought together to work together. So we develop this nation together. But every time I fly with him, he's always telling me, so what is your vision? What do you want to do in your areas where you're coming from? So the message is still the same. And every time he comes and says, this office we have, it is not your office, but you're just holding it on behalf of the thousands of millions of Zambians. So it's a privileged office, but every day do something, make a difference. So I love the mentorship we are getting and the vision in which we have to move on. It's not my vision. That's why it is interesting. Okay, we'll discuss it in detail. When I was listening to one of the opposition leaders talking about each ministry having its own vision and everything, look, we are not a scattered flock.
For me, Honorable, Being a pastor, I cannot talk about this issue of tribalism. You sit here, you justify to say, look at this. If I bring another person, he will point areas, departments and ministries. In short, I'm not an advocate of tribalism. I don't even want to discuss it on CAMNET, because this can bring conflict. We've seen in Rwanda, we've seen in other places. I don't like moving that area. So if one believes this one is like this, one believes this one is like that, my job is to unite the nation.
Exactly.
So tribalism, I'll put it under the table there.
Yeah.
It can be discussed on other platforms. But my interest is, I want to know, you are not the Minister of Mines,
Yeah.
but I've been puzzled because of the national resources which we lose. I was driving going to Lubumbashi, I think early this year, I passed through, I don't know, in Chingola, there's a mine before you get to the crossroad of where the road goes to Solwezi, the other one goes to Kasumbalesa.
Yes.
There's a mine this side. I think
an open pit.
It's a depot.
It's an open pit.
Yeah.
It's under Konkolo Copper Mine.
Just there, Honorable, I saw hundreds of trucks packed inside with dust from the mine, packed in big bags. And before that, I found one truck had overturned just as you enter into Kapiri. I said, what's this? They said, oh, Pastor, this is copper being taken for processing in South Africa. I said, you mean we don't have plans to do this? But nevertheless, you educate me. Like I said, you are an engineer, you've worked in the mines.
Yes, 15 years.
15 years. Why would we allow a situation where copper is mined and it's packed in bags to go and be developed?
I like it. That dust you saw, and I know the place you're talking about, it's just before there's some traffic lights just before you cross there.
Correct,
yes.
correct.
It's a yard, they still use it, and they pack those, and much of that was coming in. That is what we refer to as concentrates in its powder form. That has been happening in our Fiashi from since time immemorial.
Before you even came into power?
You see that, you think it can be the Lelo. Our Fiashi, that has been happening since time immemorial. What we are trying to do, our Fiashi, the president has said, to revive the fortunes of our economy, we need to go value addition way. In everything, value addition. Copper, we cannot send it as concentrates. We should give it value addition. Na timber fee, you know, Mukula, it was all over Mukula, rosewood, na Firuba. We can't be selling Mukula and rosewood in its current form. We need to develop timbers in that way. Then we develop industries in this country, we retain jobs, we stop capital flight, among many other things. It is the more reason why, my pastor, I have been given this task and responsibility to say, because when you say, oh, I may not be the Minister of Mines, but I'm the Minister of Industries. And KCM is a mining industries sector is an industry, which we have to make sure that we protect. It is the more reason why you have followed the Tawa Fiash. I've seen even here on CAMNET, you have televised that we're trying to set up an industry in this country, which support, first we want to upscale production at Zamefa. Zamefa is the only company at a small scale that is producing cables from the same copper that we are getting from the mines.
It used to be a big company during Abafiashwa Kaunda.
Well, I'll tell you, right now it is producing only at 40%. It's deliberate. So I've refused to accept the status quo, and I'm engaging the owners so they can upscale it. But as they upscale it, what do? We need to have a replica of the same. But as we have a replica of the same, we still have to give more value addition to the copper. What do? the world is transitioning from fossil fuels, diesel, petrol, into electric cars. But what are the components into electric cars? It is the electric batteries. What do they use to make electric batteries? Manganese, copper, cobalt, lithium, among others. And that is what we have. The president of this country, with his dear brother in DRC, they decided to say, we need to give value addition to our material. We can't be exporting Iranian powder, Machanda Affairs concentrate. It's a more reason why we have signed now, we are going to set up our very own, first of its kind, even here in Africa, electric battery plant. So we have concluded, and we are going to start next week. The people are even coming to do feasibility studies so that we find now how we can do it. Hopefully, things just go and the results for the feasibility studies come out as a result. We need to set up now an industry here in Zambia, starting this year or early next year, where we start making our own batteries. So we want to put an end to that.
Who signed that deal? I'm interested, Honorable.
Of the electric batteries?
No. The one who signed that powder to be exported.
I'll tell you this, Alafiash. That powder, but under our administration, we have made a decision. And we want that powder to completely stop going out. And if there is powder moving today, it is very little. Because we've made sure that the taxes imposed on moving powder, they shouldn't be affordable. Because we have got what we call smelters, where you can produce and process that thing and smelt into two cathodes and anodes. At least when they do that, it gives more job to our people, more jobs to our people, and it develops the industry. But beyond that, you can refine it. And when you refine it, it is not only powder that is there. In there is gold.
Really?
In there is cobalt. And cobalt from copper is almost $10,000. But cobalt in it is almost $70,000. It is $90,000 per ton. But when they take it, they will go and get it out from where it has gone, and they make value out of it, and we seem to lose. And that's why in this government we have said this should not be the status quo. Refining should be happening. And that is what the move that we have taken. So now
you understand, Honorable Minister, me when I talk from my knowledge, I say it's not right that things should be packed trucks. Our roads are being destroyed. Today, Piafika 200, Kwachapato gate. How I wish you can just stop it completely. That we need the money as a nation. We can't be borrowing 1.3 and billion, and we make a song out of it when we can generate. We can generate our own billions of dollars. My director. What I'm saying, Honorable, is that that's a commendable thing. And one of the reasons that you people fail as a government is to explain to the people. To explain to the people, to say we are doing this. So you see, me, I was just thinking that thing started in your government, because that's when I went to Lubumbashi and I asked, what's that? Dust. So I thought it's you to blame.
And I'll be, look, any well-meaning person would testify to say this has been the status quo since time immemorial. But it must come to an end. And it can't continue like that. And what our vision is, look, is not only to export cathodes or anodes, is to export wires. That's why I'm in serious talks with Zamefa to see that they expand their scope. And what you find that what is so funny. So I had a meeting, the first one with Rwansha Copper Mines. The second meeting I'm going to have will be with the Solwezi-based mines. Less useless and munition. When they are said, do you wonder why when you're buying cables from South Africa, the price is almost the same like cables from Zamefa or cables from New Country, which are made in Zambia? The reason why is simple. When the mines are selling copper to these cable manufacturing companies, they charge them the price as though they bought copper from London. And then it starts coming. Copper if just from the next gate. So I engaged the mining owners and I told them, you can't be selling them like this. There is no problem of you selling them at London Metal Exchange price. But you cannot sell them putting logistical costs in place. You should reduce that. Because it will allow us a loss. How will you run a loss? You never transported it. So those are the talks that I'm having. So that we start seeing that Zambian cables, by the way, Zambian cables are very good. Because the same Zamefa cables you see, they're exported all over the world. But we want to see them cheaper on our shelves. And this is what we are doing. And we are going to make an announcement very soon. Because we don't want to go in a bullish and unstructured manner of engagement, but they should understand that they shouldn't be duping the Zambian people.
Absolutely.
They should be giving back to the community value for their money at the right price with decent provisions to the people. So this is what we're doing.
During the leadership of our late president, Dr. Kaunda, Zamefa was under these parastatal companies. Was it sold or privatized?
It is owned by some South Africans.
It's owned by South Africans.
But Nangubashtisha, we are a government who has got the responsibility to make sure that it produces to full capacity. Because right now it is working between 35 to 40% capacity. Every 35 to 40% capacity, full of here, they refuse to capitalize it to grow more. But we are in serious talks with them. They should justify why it cannot work at 90% capacity production. So these are the conversations that we are having right now.
You know, Honorable, I'm so grateful that you are here as Minister of Commerce. There are a lot of things that pain me. One of the incidents is I had a church member who was a church secretary, administrator, the late Mwansa Mutanuka. You remember him? The late Mwansa Mutanuka was the last MD. He managed Shilanga Cement so well. May he so rest in peace. He managed Zambia National Milling Company. He was the last MD. What pains me is that during privatization, he ran that thing so well. He put in a bid to buy National Milling. They disregarded Mwansa Mutanuka and gave the tender to some South Africans. And yet Mwansa Mutanuka, with the vision and everything, he put in this and he was going to buy it at a good price, and they overturned it. He's a Zambian. They sold it to a South African. So when he came back to me and said, Pastor, I've lost that bid, then he starts explaining to me that these South Africans, they just sold 2 houses where he was staying as managing director, and his deputy sold 2 houses and he paid the government of Zambia for that milling plant. You see, these are some of the things that hurt me, because you, as government, you don't consider empowering the Zambians. And this is why there is capital flight.
Yeah. Abafiashi, I want to agree with you that that has been happening. And we want to stop perpetuity of that act. It is in this way. First, let me also lament with you that I share the same concern. But don't forget what I said in my preamble to say, now I needed to get into government so that I can do that which was hurting me. And the question you would ask me is, Mwana, what are you doing now that you are there? Because you have got now the authority to stop this. Each and number one I want to say, Zambians must learn to believe in each other.
To be?
To believe in each other.
To believe in each other. I believe you.
Here you are, my pastor. Naturally, I was a boy listening to you preach, but you don't definitely remember people. Nara misula, nine ndekende kufia vanestu. Uko banji kazi family ndana mfati na parwa. But you've got a pastor within.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. The president has said, he considers development fund to pangile. Akari abafia ama desks, mama school to elect import. Ama books, everything we used to import. But he has said, we will stop importing desks, we will stop importing labor, we have had construction happening in this country. If you want to say construction, it was Bamwisa we are doing it. But he has said no more foreign national doing construction or supplying anything under CDF. It is the locals to do it. That is the first step to stop capital flight. That is the first step to start believing in each other to do business. People are downplaying the influence of cooperatives. You know, Zambians we are called to say we don't respect the power of partnership. We fail to do businesses. We have got a president who's coming from a business background, and he says it is partnership that builds resilient businesses, houses. And we start from there. In my very own constituency, and I'm very thankful to God that we have done extremely well in implementing projects under CDF, building bridges, drainages, among many other things. And the desks that are being supplied are desks that are being supplied made by Fueve. The same plumber from Zambia, from Chingola. And they're the ones supplying the desks into schools, not importing them from outside. Within Chingola.
And they are quality desks?
They are quality. Others, the quality is not that good. And you may say, and in the first place, we were never given an opportunity to have access to work. So we may not be perfect because we are beginning to start. But all we have to do is to make sure that Nakabidi, we begin to trust each other. As long as we are not stealing, because that contract. Once you just get the money, before you even finish a contract, you fly into South Africa. You go into Dubai, you come back with a BMW and a Range Rover. But in this government, we are saying, if you do that, you will be punished. Because you are stealing from your own people. Make sure that you supply what is supposed to be supplied. At the right time, the right quality, and not underplaying the price of the supply that you are giving. So, but challenging me, when I say drainages, because we were used to seeing Bamwisa doing the drainages and everything, when we give our very own, we can't do that. It's better I give you a Fiashman to employ, and you employ my brothers. But definitely the quality is not as good as our friends from different countries, because them they've always believed in each other, and they've perfected the art. So now they have not yet perfected the art, but we need to believe in them. Me, my plea is our Fiash. It's better I sit on a chair, but you will appear weso. Can you do a better job tomorrow? And it will be better. Because right now, Zambians don't have equipment and facilities. They're using shovels to mix while others are using compactors. Once we keep giving them these jobs, they'll improve the quality, they will mechanize their works, but we just have to believe in them. So even the quality may not be good, but we don't have to stop to reminding them about quality. They have to do the best they have to do, so that they can give the best of service to the people. This is the beginning of stopping to give foreign nationals to take even assets that we can run. It is a study. It has never been done before, where government makes a policy to say development of constituencies will be customized by the residents themselves. So I had 25 million last year. I don't have 25 million now. All the projects we did in my constituency, we made sure that the locals did them. To start with, residents of the constituency. Because what was happening in the past years, we could see roads being made, but baada tushira fyorukungu indala mashonse basenda. But today tabatushira fyorukungu barapanga no musebo barapanga nifanyingi bapanga nandalama will remain in the constituency. That is a vision. That is the idea.
Would you correct or dispel this myth that the constituency fund is only given to UPND people, and that's a way of empowering UPND? Yes, they are Zambians, but another person cannot access this. I say that because I'm sure one person who is prominent is watching in Mufrira.
Yes.
He went to tender there at one of the places. If he has time, he will call during question and phone in. He was told, bring the UPND card. And he called this station and said, Pastor, UPND card. I'm not PF. I am not. And he used to be on the suppliers list, Yakumain. I'll give you his number after this program so that you can phone him and hear for yourself. But he was removed from there. And they said, bring the UPND card, if you are a member. So have you checked those areas when people complain? Or have you got one person in your constituency who you say, okay, pass out of this 25 million, this man belongs to PF, we gave him this. This one belongs to UNIP, we gave him this. Have you got evidence to that?
I'm not the Minister of Local Government, but I'm a cabinet minister. I sit in a cabinet which the president of this country heads. It is criminal under our administration to demand for a party card from a business owner to do business with us. If that person suffered that injustice, they should report that matter. It's a criminal thing.
I will give you his phone number.
If in Ireland, it is criminal. I'll tell you this. As Member of Parliament, I do not get involved in the awarding of contracts. I don't. But policy direction has been given by the head of state to say, let us empower the local people. Local people is not only UPND. Local people of Afyashwan is not only PF. It's not only UNIP. It is Zambia.
Absolutely.
And our vision as a UPND of Afyash is this one. Very simple. How do we attract even the PF to come to us? It's by doing good. Me, Nashmi, when I was working in the mines, at the age of 38, I was declared redundant. Why? Because I was aligned to be the opposition. In the mining sector, where I'm coming from, the president, the leader of the Democratic Party, Judith Kavemba, because she was DP, she was fired on that same grounds. Except for PF, under this administration, we've got PF today who are working under the same KCM. They are even on Facebook insulting us and calling us names. We said they are Zambians, they are enjoying their freedom of expression. We will not get them out of employment because they are other political party players. It's not what we do.
But you have fired some people.
I'll tell you something, Awafiashi. You may say you have fired some people. It is very simple. When you are working like in the civil service, the party in power is UPND, which has got this vision. And we were voted for based on the vision that we promised the people. So it is that vision which must be implemented. So when you're a civil servant or anywhere else, put your political allegiance elsewhere and follow the vision of the party. It is that manifesto which we should follow. And 1 year in government, the president has said, align yourself to the policy implementation that we promised the people. But if you sabotage that one, then you are not willing to work. Not because you are PF, because you are not willing to implement the policy based on what is supposed to be done. Differentiate this. Implementation of policy and party affiliation are two different things. We cannot, even myself, in my ministry, I've got people that I found who are still serving with me, and we know their political affiliation. How will we get them on our side by firing them? We saw why did they leave when they kept firing us? They aggrieved more people. It's not a path we can get.
But so what I'm saying, Honorable, me, when I sit here, I'm just opening you up. Because some of these things
that we
you may not know, you may not hear.
Yeah.
There are people that I can submit to you who are not PF, who are not anything, but they've been fired. Just like you remember in PF, certain officers were fired, and the President HH said, you come back, and he reinstated them. You know, among which the Western Province police officer was fired, and all this. Other people who were not PF, I can tell you this, they've been fired, and you are not aware about this. This is why when I hear the President's pronouncements, he means well. He wants to work with people. But under here, there are those who will say, you are not my choice, you are not this. And the other departments, Honorable, I think of this program, I can tell you something that you know that there is a lot of rot going on there until you people open your eyes and the President gets to know about this, you'll be cheated.
Sure. It's the more reason why we're even here. We are not. We don't have the monopoly of wisdom. So even people like yourselves, once you rebuke us, and I'll tell you this, the president has given us a clear direction. Be open to criticism. It's from criticism where you will draw lessons and implement what people are talking about. When they criticize, not for the they could say to Alam, you break your legs. That's not who we are. We are criticized to get better and implement. Now, coming back to the CDF, where I'm very interested where you talked about the Bapela Feva UPND. You talked about Mufulira. My elder brother there, who is member of parliament, Honorable Dr. Anton Mumba, is implementing CDF policies and projects using CDF. He's PF. I've seen him even on social media doing things using CDF. Go to Kanchivia. There is Sunday Chanda. Staunch PF is always on social media, and people are saying Sunday Chanda is implementing CDF projects even more than the UPND officials. Using CDF. Go to, I always forget this constituency where there was Honorable Vincent Mwale.
Chipangali.
Go to the member of parliament, to Chipangali. He was even on Facebook talking about how CDF is empowering people. Go to Nkana on the Copper Belt. There's an independent member of parliament, Bini Wampundu. He has done bridges from CDF that Akainde gave. He has beauty equipment from CDF. Go to Petauke. There is an independent, because I've mentioned PF and independency. There is the Honorable JJ Banda. He has even started grading from CDF. What we do under this administration, the disbursement of CDF is at once for everyone, non-discriminatory. They release it for everybody to get, non-discriminatory. But now it is about members of parliament themselves to move and get the projects implemented. It's unfortunate. Others are refusing to get it actioned because when they action it, they believe the UPND government will be seen to be working. But they are not punishing the UPND people. They are betraying the electorates that gave them authority to work. So now when you come to me, you see it working in Chingola constituency. And you say, because I'm a UPND MP, that's why I've received it. No, everybody have a fiash. I cannot lie to you. You have got the mandate beyond being a spiritual father. You are a media guru. You can do your investigative journalism and find out when did this receive. Everybody received that once. And as though that's not enough, you're 25 minutes of pocket. Nay, 28 million. You started receiving. So everybody, at once, everybody receives.
So it's benefiting Zambians?
For all Zambians, our fiash. Not to kushako na ones. What I would request from electorates, abantu abatuvotera, is to say, President alandira ati natuma CDF. Unga iwe CDF ili kui. Ngawe po ufete yote vampela. The people must come and question me, Gary Nkombo, to say, Gary we utuma CDF, where is it? Gary Nkombo will go and say, Vamsokotwane release the money on time. And I, as Minister of Local Government, I have sent the money. It's incumbent now on members of parliament to start implementing projects. And that's what we're doing. Now listen, to answer your question where you said it's benefiting UPND, on the contrary, we have bought these CDF monitoring vehicles. We don't want people to say that they failed to cross because they couldn't go. The government has bought each constituency a Land Cruiser. So they monitor projects. Can I tell you what happened, Abafiash? In Nepal, as minister and MP or UPND, I've not even received my vehicle yet because a decision was said, let us give those who may even cry foul to say, you're giving ministers first. Our opposition, they've received. Our independent, they've received, including just MPs. Ministers were even waiting for them to be labeled. That's how we are trying to bring everybody together without discrimination. And the government, led by the president, is saying, this is not our money. It's not UPND money. It's the Zambian people's money. It should go to the people. And this is exactly what we are doing. So it is not segregative of affairs. That I can assure you, Pastor Chiruba. It is for the Zambian people and it's going at the right time. It's just incumbent on every member of parliament to deliver.
Well, the issue of CDF, again, I won't say much. I live in
I'm here to answer the question.
I live in a constituency where
You have the right to question, to say, here it's not happening, why isn't it happening?
No, I think I had the privilege to speak to the minister, to say, Minister, I want to see you, and all this because of the many clubs that I know who are suffering, and I thought I could ease up his job.
Yeah.
But I just left it as it is. The issue of CDF, you have labored to explain. Maybe one of the source of my concern is the Midmi issue.
Yeah.
You as Minister of Commerce, are you aware, Honorable, that Midmi has run out?
First, I really need you to elaborate to say when you say run out, so that I can
run out in the sense that there is no, you can't find it stacked up in a, like I went up Papa Pick and Pay this evening in Takuri. You know, it's not like you would walk in and yeah.
Indeed, and that is something that is giving sleepless nights to everyone. And the head of state has put on aside a number of things that he has been doing to focus on resolving this problem. I need to say this, not that we are trying to take refuge in the perpetuity of this problem during this time of the year. Because we have seen, year in, year out, this problem keeps coming. It's like where we would see load shedding comes, minimum shortages come, among other things. But we don't take pleasure in seeing our people line up for a commodity that should be readily available in their homes. Because, and I'm not here to give excuses. All we have to do is just resolve this problem. Because indeed, the smuggling issue is rampant. But other than the smuggling issue, because of the dire need of the commodity in our neighboring countries who are willing to pay anything, they are coming to get it, and our local people have taken advantage and skyrocket the price, among other things, because of the democratized trade and liberalized economy that we have. But we have to move in as a government to make sure that we stop this. What are the immediate measures we are trying to put in place? That's why you saw the president put aside what he was doing, call the millers and other stakeholders to say, colleagues, mini meal cannot be something that we fail to resolve. Because Zambians, no matter how much you can bring development, they need to be fed. So what have we done? Deliberately, strategic reserves. Under the Food Reserve Agency, I insist, the grain is still there. But it must be used for local consumption. And I need to make something very clear, Bafiash. The Food Reserve Agency maize that we are giving, that is subsidized maize. Government is not, and I insist, because I've seen stakeholders saying government is exporting maize. Government is not running any business, and government does not export maize. But there is some maize that government owns, keeps on behalf of the Zambian public. What maize is this? From Food Reserve Agency. Because the price from the private sector, you and I, we are farmers. We sell to the farmer, to the millers, at a certain price. But because our brothers in the DRC, Tanzania, Mozambique, and other places are willing to pay $500 per ton or per bag, we would rather sell to them. So when a Zambian miller comes to us, we'll say, I think if you need to match the Congolese price. So now that price, when they take it, that's why you see now the minimum price goes to 300, 400. So what does the Zambian government do to protect the consumers? We have to release now maize from Food Reserve Agency so that it goes at a price between 155 to 175 from 300, that is supposed to be happening there. But the most unfortunate thing is, and I'm calling on Zambians to be patriotic for once, in a way that we should show unity in a crisis.
Absolutely.
Look, there is a crisis of maize. Why should I, Fiashi, when you are supplying maize at 175, I come and pick your maize and externalize and inflate the price so that I punish others? It's a crisis. We need to sit together and make sure that everybody has got food in their houses. At the right time, when there is sufficient, then we can sell at high prices to the others. So this is what we're trying to do. But, and it is that maize which we are saying government cannot authorize the export or subsidized maize, it is for local consumption. But for private-owned maize and milling meal, and in mind you had it, I have to take this maize to the other markets. That's where we can say, okay, maybe we can give an export, but not for government subsidized maize, because it is your maize. It is government maize. It is the people's maize.
But last week, Honorable, I hosted the President Edith Nawakwi, the President of FDD. Two things she brought out. She says that she warned the UPND government to say, don't sell maize. That's one of the things that she brought, and many other people who said, don't sell maize because of food security. Secondly, the minister, I played a clip.
Yeah, agriculture minister.
Agriculture minister. He is on record in Parliament. I can even ask my director to play it today. He is on the record to say that we are not going to stop exporting maize.
Exactly.
Now, the government is trying to stop, but the minister is saying we are not going to stop. How do you reconcile that?
This is a clarification I'm making. He talks about that as a minister of agriculture, but let me tell you from the trade point of view. You, like I clearly said it, there is maize, let's say, and I think what I need to do is also to talk to the minister to list all the millers who are getting subsidized maize, so that Zambian public know that this is subsidized maize, this should be the price, it should not leave the borders. I am hoarding maize belonging to the Zambian public under Food Reserve Agency. That food, maize, is sold 4,000 per ton, kwacha per ton. That is a lower price. But when you go to the private sector, you are not, it's you who farmed from your farm, it's not even under FISIP. You bought fertilizer from a shop, you farm. Your price is 5,000 metric tons per year. You bought fertilizer, not subsidized fertilizer, from a shop at a high price. So your plan is to sell to another market. So you make a profit markup. I will not stop you from doing that. Because your market is the other side. But what do I do as government to cushion the burden? I need to have strategic reserves. That subsidized maize is what subsidized maize cannot be given for export. It is the more reason why we are saying these millers have received maize and the price should. I even made a very public announcement to say in these trucks, it should never be sold at more than 175 kwacha because it is subsidized maize. Like what time Mpongo, we never gave the maize as government. So the price was there on. But when they were taking maize, milling meal, in places at higher prices, we had to bring milling meal from Zambia National Service at 155 and from other millers like Antelope and the rest that we gave to supply at 175. That maize, which is coming from Food Reserve Agency, cannot be sold. When Bamaiwa Nawakwi Indira, she warned government not to sell Amataba, we still have maize. What is, look, maize is there. What is pushing the price of fish is this demand from the outside, which they are moving from their own country. You know, Kenya had a drought. DRC, it's always the case. We support each other. We are brothers and sisters. Tanzania and all these other places. So when they come, now, you may wonder, why is Kenya now for the first time coming to Zambia? Why is Namibia coming to Zambia? In the past, all these other countries used to buy wheat grain from Ukraine. But there is war there now. Grain cannot come here. So they can't import from these other places. So which country do they go to? It's not only Zambia. So now we've got so many of these countries coming for one place. But what we have in our strategic reserves under food reserves is very sufficient for ourselves. So we said, okay, this is what we'll give our people. But now, even that, others, unscrupulous dealers, they want to take it on the black market. They want to take it and export it. It is that now, if you have seen, you may ask yourself, they are saying they're not going to export, but why are they arresting people to say these are smugglers? Because we have not given them permits to export Food Reserve Agency meal. That should be used for domestic consumption.
So now, Honorable, I'm a little bit lost.
Okay.
I have a milling company myself.
Yes.
And I sell my own milling mill.
Yes. Which you
to Congo. I take my truck to go to Congo. I didn't get maize from Food Reserve Agency.
Yes.
Why should you intercept at Kasumbalesa that I'm a smuggler when you have no proof that this maize is from...
We are a government with due diligence.
Okay.
Like what you have said, your own maize, your own truck, your own milling plant, we can't stop you. All you have to do is just get the export permit. You say, these are my maize. Once we prove it is your maize, it will go. There will be no interception.
Okay.
But if you take the maize that the government has given you, actually the people's maize, you mill it in your plant, and you want to take it to Congo, upon Mbanish you have a problem. I hope I've delivered my message clearly. Na lima mataba. Ayo na ine CHIPOKA na lima, you buy from me at a high price. Because CHIPOKA use this one fertilizer, not FISIP fertilizer. So this is your production, it is high. Imagine, remember, there are those farmers who buy their own grain. The fertilizer is more expensive than FISIP. FISIP is subsidized fertilizer. So government goes and buys from those that they give FISIP, and they put in the government store under Food Reserve Agency. That maize should come out there on the market in times like this, a crisis. But for those who did their own, that's your maize. Prove that you brought your own, you grow your own maize, then we'll give you the permit. We'll give you, so that you can sell where you want to sell. But for this maize, which government is keeping and selling to the millers at a lower price, it should not be exported. Because it is lower price for the Zambian people themselves.
But why is the minister again on record to say he has allowed people to import the
now I need to,
so that this shortage is...
Now let me clarify this point, because I was in cabinet when we made this decision, and we were very clear. I will not argue. I don't know the messages that the minister brought out. I've not listened to it. But let me give you this, on this trade point of view. We have seen there is insatiable appetite, even from our people, to take even our maize to take it to the borders. We have got enough maize for ourselves, okay? But people want to take it to the border to cushion. So that's why even we said, whoever wants to bring maize, milling from other countries, let them bring. But it will not be sold in our Zambian shops. Zambian shops, we've got food reserve, it's okay. It should be taken to border areas to satisfy that market on the other side. Not in our Zambian shops. The Zambian shops, we've got enough for ourselves. But to give that, look, you want to trade, export to the other place. Don't export our milling meal from our maize. Buy from wherever you want, take it to authorize you, not our own. Because other business owners are saying, we used to export milling meal, but you're stopping us because you're saying it's food reserve maize, because it is what is available. So how do we survive as business owners? Because, okay, we'll allow you, go and get from wherever you want, but take it straight to the other borderlines. Not to put in our Zambian shops, to the other borderlines. Because if we put it to our Zambian shops, we are going to put into competition our own millers. Undue competition. And me as a trade minister, I will not subject my people to that. I can only do that if my own millers don't have maize, don't have milling meal. Then I can say, okay, colleagues, let us buy and eat from our own home. But not in our own markets. For our own market, Zambia has grown enough milling meal for ourselves, which we can consume for ourselves.
So it's there?
Milling meal.
Enough maize?
Yes, our fish. And we are going, and by the way, I should even give comfort to the Zambian public. Right now, other people have even started now harvesting. It's even going into the bands. They started harvesting. So there will be no shortage of this commodity.
So why is there a shortage? Maybe this is where I'm failing to understand. Why isn't these shops stocking it up in bulk?
This is the same challenge that I've explained, Afiash. Because of now, we are not getting it from our private owner. You know, the biggest quantity of maize we have is in private hands. FRA has got a smaller quantity, but which can feed the country. It is one commodity which now starts feeding across the country. But the private sector, they are all over. Now the private sector has increased their price because there is good margin in financial gain from selling outside. So they are opting not to give the neighborhood millers who are local, but give it to the outsiders. So now these neighborhood millers who are sitting with other farmers near to them, instead of getting maize from the farmer next door, they are now having to come to get from Food Reserve Agency, which has got one store. So we have to now move in the logistics, take it this side, take it this side, take it this side.
Can I appeal to you, Honorable? It's just a suggestion. And after you implement it, I need my consultancy fee.
Freely you receive, freely you should give.
That's right. Honorable, I'm very passionate about this nation. I'll just give an example of myself. You see, China does not sell tobacco and the making of cigarettes to anybody, because that's a national commodity. In China, that belongs to the government, and it generates billions. So because they know a lot of people smoke, they export it, they do what? So cigarettes belong to the government. And there are certainly things that I learned that this is a no-go area. Whether you've got billions, you can't invest in it because the government knows how to get the money. I am saying this in the light of Milimio. I'm not talking about cigarettes now. I'm downgrading it to here. You see, Honorable, this is where you governments fail. You must have a deliberate policy to come, Pastor Chiluba, you have interest in putting up a milling company. How much will it cost you? Or it will cost me $5 million, $50 million. You give it to me, because that now becomes your baby. In times like this, you can fall on Pastor Chiluba's milling company, not to take to Malawi or to DRC, because you have empowered me, you have educated me. Wafundo mwana wa mukushana ku university elwaisa mukutuka ba noko na bawiso. I am simply saying that from time immemorial, not only UPND, this is where you governments fall short. And when I say empower Zambians, you don't have to look at tribe, you don't have to look at political party, you don't have to look at anything, but select Zambians and give them what it takes. Because in situations like this, if I do for a few, Panompere 63, going to 64, Nderia rice finish if you're not managing. Because even in my own house, in Syria rice for breakfast, the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. I was trained with Nshima.
Sorry, you have not departed from it.
I have not departed.
You stuck to it.
So this is what I'm saying, Honorable. Please consider this, that you deliberately empower Zambians. And when I say Zambians, I'm not saying Zambians of Cuban origin, Canadian origin. I'm talking about Zambians who are Zambians. I rest my case.
Awafiashi, I agree with you. And listen, hear this. It is the more reason why. This government, we believe that, look, in the past we've heard of foreign direct investment. You can never develop a country without local direct investment. It would take the locals to develop this country. It's the more reason why we have deliberately started empowering people, even by giving, starting even with CDF. It is empowerment of the people. It is the more reason why the president, his first press statement, I'm sure you were there, Afiash, or your media house was there. The first press statement he gave, there was this Mukula, Timber, every chaos. He cancelled all concession licenses owned by foreign nationals and said this is a prerequisite of the Zambians. It's believing in each other. Even in this poverty we are seeing for our shortage of minimum, trust me, as trade minister, even if the president, even it is beating him, and we want to find a long-lasting solution. A suggestion you have given, Afash, is brilliant and it's timely. You are just reaffirming our commitment to believing in Zambians, that money should be kept in the hands of the Zambian people. We will not take it elsewhere. That's the more reason why the Minister of Defense, Honorable Fuma, he commissioned, when we just took over, he made sure that we complete the construction of the milling plants, which were Chinese funded, one in Southern Province.
They were left by PF,
which were Chinese funded. But we had to, leadership is a continuous process.
Absolutely.
We had to finish it.
It's a Zambian project.
So that project, he commissioned them, one in Southern Province, another one in the Central Province, to make sure those milling plants, I'm not sure if it's Central Province, but there were two, I can remember. And these are the milling plants, even to supply maize at the lowest price. I mentioned it to you. Under ZNS, it's going at 155 kwacha. But no matter where you to our private sector, we're 175 kwacha. So I agree more with you. We have to invest more in ourselves. So this has even given us an opportunity to see, should we set up a milling plant also in Chingola? Should we set up a milling plant also in Kitwe, in another place? So should a crisis like this be? TN 155 or less, among other things. I agree with you. Those are areas that we should work on. And it's a more the reason this government is saying, let Zambians be part and parcel of the business and entrepreneurship community of this country. We are committed to it. Because you may agree with me. Governments, for a Zambian to do business, they should be affiliated either to a politician like CHIPOKA or a foreign national. It's not supposed to be like that. You should be a Zambian yourself. Number one requirement, just to have access to businesses within. It is a more reason now we have seen, if you have CEC application of loans, it is just now a principle of Zambian people. And the loans have increased. But there is a challenge in the application of the CEC loans. People are still saying, no, it cannot only be electronic. You need to support them. So we are trying to streamline it. So anybody can apply and get access to it. So this is why we are streamlining, so that it can be very easy. The Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises is working so hard to make sure that support to the local communities is happening. Real support, not based on political affiliation, not based on tribe, not based on ethnicity, but you are a resident of this country. You are part and parcel of doing it. I agree with you. Maybe we are not explaining our policies so much. If you want to be inviting me on a daily basis on Cabinet TV to explain, I'll be doing it now. So that Zambians believe that this is theirs and they should walk through it.
This station, Honorable, if you look at this station, I'm very objective with my wife. And the people, some have misunderstood me. To say that this pastor is UPND, is PF, they associate me to parties. But I thank God for minds like that. God has put them on planet Earth to spice up life. I don't take offense. But being a Zambian myself, there's no way I can see my country going down because UPND is in power. What is my interest? I've got children. I've got my grandchildren. I want them to live in a better world. So UNIP comes, MMD comes, PF comes, UPND comes, another party comes. I want to remain true to my nationality. And these are some of the things. If you remember, I interviewed President HH. Maybe someday I will play the clip, which people don't know. I asked President HH before the election. I said, Mr. President, you are coming into power. Are you promising to employ all the Zambians' youths? I put that across because there were minds that were saying he's coming to create jobs. And I sensed that this could be a time bomb. I'll play that clip one day. Do you know what the president said? He said, Pastor, if any president comes and he tells you that I will employ people, it's a lie. He said it on cabinet. So when I see people saying, hey, president promised that you employ everyone, me, I don't talk from without. Even then, I would hear people talk about this. He refused. He said, no, we can't employ everyone. But here I am now. I want to contribute to the vision of UPND, to the vision of PF, to the vision of this. Instead of just having 200 journalists at ZNBC, we have Cabinet TV here. You are quick to fund ZNBC because it's a national broadcaster. You don't even look at how is Pastor Chua surviving. And some people in some corner, they would even pray and wish that we close because of some reason. This is why I'm saying, Honorable, take time with your government to empower Zambians. It will be for your good.
Yeah.
Apandelanda, this ministry, it's going everywhere. Abantu abashayishi befya bunga nefyo filenda baumfa kuli imu as minister. Imitima ya ikara. If you don't explain these policies, we'll just think that you have failed.
Okay. No, I agree with you, Afiashi. And it's a more reason why I can assure you, we have demonstrated this to say we are pro-local. How do you demonstrate that you are pro-local? Number one, Afiashi, we cannot build a strong economy when there is chaos in a country. It was normal to be beating each other. Me, I almost lost my hand. Central Police. The first time Dr. Kambwiri was summoned by the past government, led by Balungu, to police, we went to give him solidarity because I was one of his national leaders. Almost you couldn't talk work. We were giving him solidarity. The cadres just came. Central Police party. Yes. Mulevi mapanga, and I was all over media when I was hacked. In public stations, places, markets, we saw ministers even getting slapped. We saw the former Justice Minister Walubind. The case was in court and everything. The levels of hooliganism were escalating. The president said, even if you were PND watch the chief, you shouldn't do it. That is being pro and uniting the country. Secondly, how do you do it and unite the country? Civil servants, strikes could be coming from all over. We said our people must get paid on time. Once you know Shara Isalelo, it's predictable, you can even budget. Civil servants are getting paid on time. There could be desirables here and there, but we have to work on them. The pensioners who had worked for years, that is being pro and investing in your own people. From as far back as 2006, this is 2023, they were not getting paid. The Minister of Finance was given a mandate by the President. You need to pay these people. They have suffered for the country. MPs, MP. I will get my gratuity at the end, at the midterm. MPs are protesting at allowances here. You've never heard that. But who pays MPs? It is the pensioners. But the pensioners don't get paid. This government has decided the longest a pensioner should stay is 3 months. Near 3 months, they should stay in their house and we should be paying them. We pay them, they go. That is rebuilding the economy. And investing more in the community is this same empowerment through CDF things and business opportunities. Now, when we are getting investors coming into the country, the President has made policy direction. Partnerships and joint ventures should start. Why should there be partnerships and joint ventures? Let's be honest with ourselves. The way the country has been bankrupted, you and I, we don't have the much liquidity in our hands.
No.
But we have the resources. We have our copper. Even the cadastre at the Ministry of Mines, the Minister of Mines, Bakabuswe, had closed it for some time and people were complaining. He wanted to structure in such a way, to go to Kasenseri, but they send the to invest into Kasenseri, who will take over the provide $2.5 million, honestly, from Sudan. Even in Nenga to Sanka and to Zambians, do you think we can't do Kasenseri and mine it ourselves? The President has said lithium, manganese, and everything deliberately. These same tenements should be a preserve of the Zambians, not foreign nationals, Zambians. But when you get these tenements as a Zambian, to mine it. What do you do with it? Don't sell your license. Because when you sell your license, like in the timber industry, they will pay you, you're going to buy a Range Rover and a BMW, which is a liability, Go into partnership. You've got the resource. They've got the money. So agree that ishimpia tukwete twala ingira mu 50-50 chibusa wandi hapa. Na mu 40-60 we set up an industry here and we start to learn bonse. Chabachishira no chabana, and that's what we are advocating for. So even to draw and learn more from your wisdom of affairs, indeed, we must invest in each other. We must invest in the local communities.
There is this question, Honorable, before we open and let the people ask questions. I've started. I may not be the best interviewer, but I was so careful not to let you off the hook without explaining kuchakulya pantu ichiteka abantu mu Zambia bwali. There's this from Mr. or Madam Mulenga, whatever. Lubamba residents struggle so much with water in your constituency. Lulamba. The utility company Mulonga has failed. How are you going to help the residents?
I agree. It's true. There is a serious water challenge in my constituency. Today, if you go to my Facebook page, you will see I had even summoned Mulonga. This problem of fish has been there for a long time. And I pray to God that under my reign, this should come to an end. The first thing that I did, water is life. Under this same CDF, my plan is to sink boreholes. Not handheld pumps, boreholes with solar panels where water should be running while we are pushing Mulonga to bring water. There is a biggest market, she should know this market, Chuempala market. It's the biggest market in the entire district. By the way, I run the biggest constituency on the Copper Belt.
Really?
Yes. The biggest voter number.
It's bigger than in Ghana.
It's the biggest voter. It has got even the voter registration number is almost 100,000. My neighbor there has got 44. On the Copper Belt, you are my media guru here. You can easily track this. It's the biggest on the Copper Belt. In the biggest constituency on the Copper Belt, with the same resources I get with other colleagues, we say water is life. What did we do? The president was saying, you can sink boreholes, and we started doing it. When you go to Ipafu, there are schools, Ruankole, Kawama, we've sunk boreholes with tap water coming through, and we continue to do the same. Because when you go to Lulamba, Lulamba is the biggest ward I have again in my 18 words. People live like they don't have things. So this year what we have done, we are going to put water reticulation facilities in the interim while we are pushing Mulonga, the water utility company, to provide water services. There is an area stage 6. There should be a market there, but it has grown no market. Boreholes should be sunk and all facilities. So that people in the interim can start having access to water. But Mulonga has received funding from the European Union. If we engage them, do not buy miotoka, shakwendamo. Buy water facilities, reticulation systems, so people are doing it. Right now, as I'm telling you, they are in an area we call Chingola South, where they've contracted a big multinational company with a lot of consultancy doing sewer lines and water reticulation facilities, so that this thing is resolved. So Bamayo, it is a work in progress that this thing, water problem, gets finished. It hurts me, I don't like it. But in the interim, we were going to provide facilities. Because if you're Chitika, when I became MP, I could compare Wamulonga to take water bowsers. I don't like it. In the same way like Ubunga, it is not right. People deserve decency. So now what we have done is sink boreholes, which are communal boreholes, where water should go with taps and people should get decent water. So even under this CDF provision, 28 million, we are going to do this in every ward. I want to see water utilities. While I continue to push Mulonga to take water into individual houses, people should get in water from a shower or a bathtub basamba. That is my focus. And I'm very committed to doing it.
Well, Honorable, just before we start taking these questions and phone calls, I want to submit to you that the people have been seeing this on Camnet, but they have not paid attention.
Okay.
There's a company called Raingrow.
Okay.
Raingrow. Do you know that they are the only company in Zambia that I know of who have the strongest drip irrigation?
Okay.
And the people who have bought there, they can tell you, it goes to 6-7 years. You don't change anything.
Wow.
And if you are keeping it wonderfully, it goes to 8 years. It is the strongest drip irrigation, not these fake which are found on the market, and it's cheaper. So when some Camnet farmers started asking about this, and those who have bought, they are so grateful. I just want my director to play that clip, and those of you who are CAMNET viewers, Born for Greatness, Team Zambia, you must buy these drips before it gets out and you start waiting for another consignment. But Honorable, I am saying this again because I believe that if there is food in the nation, people will be at peace. You know, husband and wife namakisi tamubayo timule sana fekwati ni Russia and Ukraine. But when God blesses the family, you find that everyone is happy. Same with the nation. Mr. Director, please give me that Rain Grow advert so that the people can take the number. Please take the number and call them. And each time you see Rain Grow, get to that company. You'll be blessed.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner. Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
Dear CAMNET TV viewers, farmers in this nation, contact that I cannot recommend something which you won't come back and say thank you, Pastor. Because most of you, Team CAMNET, you have been looking, buying today, after 2 years you remove the same drips. Let's not be searched by these companies. Honorable,
Okay.
the lines are open. But as towards the end, I'll also give you a chance to say something about your government, because people misunderstand, I can tell you that. And like I said, I don't have all the questions, but the people will ask.
Sure.
And I'm grateful. If you have any question, please call the number 0968 675 273. That is for the studio. Once you call, we'll pick up your question. And those other numbers, if you have a text, you can call 444-726. And also the one for prayer line, don't call it because it's this one. I can probably just read your message. But if you know, Nande Honorable,
Okay.
if you've been watching our programs, ava kuchipata vali shupa. Kutina veva ati mwila tumeinamba. Mwala mona valambu kutuma elonde shivana ati ila ifumine kunyimba. Nangu kuchipata, you know, the other provinces, they are smart. May God bless you, Mr. Director. If there is any text message while we are waiting for the calls, Pastor Chilwa and our Honorable MP there, it's important to accept that things are on the ground. Things on the ground are not okay. Verbal pronouncements which do not match with reality on the ground are very deceiving. What is happening here in Chingola is that all those who had the contracts with KCM were perceived to be pro-opposition, had their contracts terminated, and give to Vashima people Vamo. Sent the, what's that?
At the expense. So it's at the expense.
It's at the expense? At the expense of sending many workers back to their homes, increasing levels of unemployment. Surprisingly, some of the people who have been given these contracts do not even have a simple shovel, to say the least. This is coming from Alexander. Yeah. What can you say to that, Honorable? Yeah. Maybe before you answer to that, let's pick up this call. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, this is Lunda Simon.
Who?
Lunda Simon.
Lindunda Simon.
Lunda, L-U-N-D-A.
Okay, Lunda Simon. Hello? Mwabombe nshikulu. Mule tumino kufuma kwisa?
Murusaka mnomwine paka mwara.
Okay, Valunda. Ndina va honorable. Mule foku vepusha?
Baromba chwemba.
Sana Valunda.
Niva Mulenga.
Unganai?
Valunda, ni Mulenga.
Niva Mulenga. Niva honorable Mulenga.
Paka na besa.
Valunda
na besa.
Okay. Ili government ya kuminefo. Bena bali ignorant kuma akatia. Beni yana akatia ya bali waponya. Bafumako.
Yeah, our network. Sorry about that. Maybe you can comment on that.
Oh yeah, yes. You know,
that the people have been replaced.
Yeah.
Because this person, I know him. They just chased him from the list.
I'll tell you something. I've heard things like that, and it is unfortunate. Me, I'll be very honest with you. Zambians must learn to have business irrespective of political affiliation. Even myself as MP, when I'm serving my people, there is no choice to say, Nyaba. Even when I go to market in Angondesta, I just buy from everyone. But I'll take concern with what has been said there as a member of parliament. And because you see, when somebody is doing business, it doesn't matter how we engage. Bambibengisha ba PF, bambibengisha ba MMD, bambibengisha ba UNIP, bambibengisha ba UPND. So business it is not right. So I think that is something that is worth investigating and everything.
I think it's
but this, what I can tell you, Rafiashi, it is look, it's not politics I'm doing here. It is not our policy to terminate people out of business because of political affiliation. But you talked about it. I've seen Alexander Valanda. It is worth investigating. It is worth engaging.
Please do.
I hear you. Because what I'll tell you is this one. I suffered loss of employment because of being in the
38 years. With all your qualifications.
Because of being opposition. I was lucky. There's someone in Ansumbura na MP because I want to allow to na be na supporter na wana minister lelo. But kulimbio balata mfienchito. We don't know if you have because
absolutely.
And we can't subject that to that. I'll tell you what happened just today. Today I was in my office at the constituency office Kuchingola. Today I had a meeting with the vice president, human capital for KCM, and their corporate affairs manager, with another company which they've contracted called AMSL. They had terminated employment for 30 people. When they came to complain to me, they've terminated our contracts. Why? Reasons I didn't see them warranting reason. And I called them in my office today. Even when you go on my Facebook page, it's there, and I said, why are you going to terminate 30 people? When they are unruly, look, 30 people is 300 people.
Absolutely.
Because each people in Zambia, asunga bantu 10, on average. Even more.
Even more.
But when I say 30, it is 300. Do you want to send these people into poverty on flimsy grounds like that? Whether we like it or not, people make mistakes. So including even those companies that they are terminating because they are perceived to be I think it is not right.
Let's pick up this call. Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Permanently blessed. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from
From?
Chansa.
Namufa ba honorable.
Nibachansa, batishina shi, ukubale, nibachansa. Bachansa mwa bombeni. Wino kanabese, nikwisa mletu mina?
Letu mina kuchokwe.
Ku?
Kuchongwe?
Chongwe, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't hear.
Vachansa, can you drop the line and call back again? Taile umfuikako. Leave it open. Taile umfuikako buino. Please drop the line and call. Tatule umfamuno macha umfama minister. Taile umfuika. Give us some text messages while we are waiting for the calls, Mr. Director. Good evening, Pastor Chuba and Honorable Mulenga. I'm enjoying the program. Kindly, Honorable, I would like you to assure the people of Chilabombwe that Milimio will be available this week because there is a shortage of Milimio for 3 weeks now. This is William Muchinshi from Chilabombwe.
Yeah.
He says, how will you assure them that there will be Milimio? Zambians, we need to believe in each other. Great message from Chibwe Chalwe from Mufurila.
Let me start with Bachwe. Indeed, Bachwe, I agree with you. Abafiash, we need to believe in ourselves. Because umina Zambia ndio mwapera contract. Tuwala susha. Kalutulete muisa. But we must understand, nero tuwampera, tatara chitapo. There is a learning curve. Other countries, they started from somewhere as well. When they failed, they never said to do it for us. They kept believing in each other and they became the best. And this is what we're trying to do as well. Then now coming to the other aspect of Chilabombe, Saturday. Indeed, there is a challenge of Milimio. This is what I was talking about. But one thing I can assure you is we will endeavor to make sure that Milimio gets to places in all areas. Even when I was in Chilabombe per Saturday, I never even wanted to move until 3 or 4 trucks moved into Chilabombe. Even tomorrow, I was even talking today. I think today about some more trucks have moved in there to make sure they want to work what. Because what we try to do, I saw. Did you see what happened with Chingora? We saw I didn't even spend a single night. This is the place where I come from. We made sure that abantu bambokola Ingisha. And now to reinforce what we are calling for, even with the community, it's not only a preserve of the government or the police to be arresting people we are perceiving to be smugglers. Now, further, we should not allow our nest to buy Ubunga 10, 15, all last time flat price. It's better we sell at the right price. But I'll commit to it, like the president is committed and others, to make sure that Milimio in Chilabombwe continues to.
Let's pick up this. I hope it will be clear. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Hello, what's your name? It was so clear, now he cuts. There is this message that has come. Honorable, the people want these questions. I think this man or this person is from Copperbelt. It says, Honorable Minister, it says, Honorable Minister, that is a mistake you are making. I heard also from Copperbelt Minister, how do you compare the shortage which black market was available and high, but in short supply in ShopRite? When ShopRite has nothing, where the price is the price fair, and the situation that on black market there is shortage, ShopRite there is nothing. He says, how do you make a comparison with a black market and when ShopRite doesn't have?
I haven't understood the question. Say it again.
This person,
Okay, but maybe they're talking about shortages in supermarkets.
ShopRite and
On Monday, is it on Monday? Must be on Wednesday. I think the president called for a meeting at State House. These are the issues that we seriously tabled with the millers. They raised a lot of concerns. Deliberately, for some reason, millers stopped taking midi meal to ShopRite. They started selling on open markets. But I think I will push in again to make sure that they've got contracts with ShopRite, Choppies. There is delivery every day. I draw lessons from this. Indeed, my brother means well. If it's my sister, we have to make sure that even in these structured shops, deliveries are happening. Even in the midst of a crisis, I agree. We have to do it.
This one says, Honorable, thank you, Pastor Chiluba and Honorable MULENGA for the fruitful discussion. Honorable Minister, please highlight to the nation on the issue of tax holidays in the mines. Okay. This is from Francis in Lusaka.
Thank you. I'll discuss it. There is this narrative where there has been lies to say government has given tax holidays to mining sector, so the economy is getting bad. Inena kulila kumugodi, ero ni neshimaini. In the past, last during Mwanawasa's time, is when we saw the mining sector employing abantu to a tune of 300, 200. From that time, Charlie Sapwa. Worse, no would take a waff map. When did we ever hear that they are employing in the mining sector? It never happened. The mining sector, even as we speak, has crumbled.
It has.
Now we are trying to revive it. All the mining companies are in court with the government. Over 300 cases. What did the president say? He said, when we are always in court, we can't work. So all the mining investors stopped reinvesting in Zambia. But because they don't know what will happen tomorrow. Where I come from in Chiravombwe, and I'm glad we are almost concluding with the talks, and very soon, maybe within the course of this month, the minister is going to make a pronouncement, if not the president, about the good news that is coming for Chila, for KCM. So what did we do? We said, we've got smelters and refineries. This I'm telling you, I don't want to be technical in my speaking. I'll speak pure English. Now, I see some dust. Where I come from, we call that as concentrate.
Okay.
So that dust, our fish. The mining companies, because the production could not match the capacity of the smelters, so they started importing concentrates from Congo and other places. What did governments do? Tax. When they imposed taxes, concentrates stopped coming to Zambia. When the concentrates stopped coming to Zambia, smelters started shutting down. When smelters were shutting down, people were laid off. Why did concentrates stop coming to Zambia? Because of taxes. So in Congo, they decided to start building their own concentrators. We lost an opportunity to make our concentrators working to full capacity. So in short, we started closing our smelters while they started building their own. Value addition and industrialization to Ipaya. So what did we say? If you are bringing in these concentrates and farming input, you can bring them at duty-free, so that you bring more here and start developing here. When you bring these things duty-free here, our industries will open, they will start working. There will be jobs, and the jobs will create taxes that will go into the coffers of the nation. We don't develop a country by taxes which ZRA collects from there. We build a country by people getting employed and creating taxes which create jobs and entrepreneurship in a country. That's a simple business technique that happens. It's not that we've given tax holidays and the country is not doing very well. It is on the contrary. That is where the mining industry collapsed. Now, after the president said, let's get out of court and negotiate with these people how they can reinvest. What has happened now? FQM has invested $1.25 billion in the first biggest nickel mine in Africa, not only Zambia. And employment.
Where is this?
It is in northwestern province. And I'm telling you, that $1.5 billion has come. Where we've got tax.
But is that benefiting the people of Zambia?
And the employment, we are very clear about it. Very clear about it. Professionals, laborers must be Zambians. And what we are now negotiating, I am working on something, it will be premature for me to preempt it, which we want to preserve now, even jobs and contracts to just Zambians. I'm working on it. It will be premature for me to announce it. That is beneficial because now, oh, $1.2 billion, yes, I'm charging. Which $1.2 billion, it is you and I. We get permanent jobs there. That's why you're seeing our young engineers are beginning to get jobs. Our young social scientists are getting to jobs. It is because of that. When the president led a team of ministers, myself, Minister of Mines, Foreign Affairs, into Washington, D.C., we signed a contract with a company called Cobalt. They have invested $150 million in Chizirabombwe, and they have now started working. And before the end of this year, the projection is, how much is this going to create? 300 professional local jobs. So it is not that those taxes, we want to bring in, because we seized in development. Now we want to bring in investment. How do we bring in investment? Congo wants investment, Angola and other places. But how do we become attractive? Let us bring in what you have in an easy way so that you develop more here. That's the concept.
Can I offer one thought? I've been mentioning this with my wife, and I strongly feel honorable. This is our nation.
Yes.
I've been thinking, not as an economist, but as a pastor, in the spirit of wanting the Zambians to be empowered. You as Minister of Commerce, please consider what I'm going to say. If you, Honorable, borrow $500 million as a government, you borrow that. If you can't borrow that, because I'm the originator of this thought, you ask me, I will lead you as government to people who can give us that $500 million.
Okay.
Once you get that $500 million, put $50 million in each province, 10 provinces. Go to the Zambians. Again, I'm passionate about Zambians. Those who have got bankable proposals, give them money. Even $1 million each or $2 million each, depending. After that, Honorable, that money is coming into the big pot,
yes,
where my interest, I'll throw in there. Everyone throws in there. By the time you leave office as UPND, you will have created millionaires here in Zambia.
Your $50 million, what do we use it for?
For example, I have a project.
Or bankable projects.
If I go to the bank, Honorable, the interest will choke me. But if you as government, you as government, you deliberately say, people with a vision. When I say a vision, okay, I'll give you an example, Honorable. My wife and I began this TV with 2 cameras. 2 cameras, Dimoyashima, Tuambo kupembera, Tuambo which apologize. You've been watching Cabinet TV.
No, I at one time, sometime back.
You
remember, you know, but anyway, that time was during load shedding times. I'm like, yeah, we had to wait for the genset to pick.
Yes, so this small is an example. If you said we want Zambians with a vision, there are a lot of people, Honorable, people who have got visions. Because all of us, when I start paying my 1% interest or 2%, you'll be making more money as government and creating millionaires. I'm just looking at how to stop this capital flight. Yeah. Because things like making blocks, again, Honorable, it's not your fault. Because I'm a blocks, bayambakari okupanga na muyo nipi. Elu abapanga ma blocks, abengima foreigners, surely. How can somebody come from India, come from America, and says I'm an investor, I searched a block making machine? You can't buy for Zambians, Honorable. Cement yamuno, fionse fiamuno, tetimunshitefe cement, nacha kutoba mawe crushed stone, mwampera fiolupiri molu panyimba, atipasa yambenu kutoba mawe. This is what I'm saying, Honorable.
Okay. That
you as minister, and even with your administration, President HH talks about this in Valandev, Mwasango Kuref Mama reports Yampi.
I like what you talk about, especially when you talk about the block making and everything. And I like the simplicity attaching to it. and those kind of things. Let me tell you something about the block making industry. It is something that I even said, now when I'm minister, I need to stop this. In the first place, no Zambian had access to money to get facilities like that. So even as we remove them from the business, it shouldn't be hostile removement.
No.
It should be empowering our locals.
Absolutely.
To a point where they can start competing. Block making machine itself, we went into a survey to say we need to get them. And I was thinking it's the Lebanese so much into this, it's a tax. We've done our survey. Few Zambians are in it, about less than 2%. If we are to remove all these things, these people will collapse the sector.
I know.
And besides, before collapsing the sector, I'll be very honest with you, it is a truth that most Zambians will not want to hear. The moment we are just going to move them like that, it will scare even other big investors. To sekachi Mzambia nga wapanga fe chintu, nga baisho tutu wachita, waleta korupia, bakakutamfia like that, will not even bring any investment. But that's not how you do it. You first start empowering people. Your locals. When you empower them to a point where they can compete, then now you start putting conditions where it just favors Abantu Ben. And this is what we have started. Me as MP, I am proud that deliberately in my constituency, blocks, we only had there is one Zambian. Avena chingola vale tamba. Pamoiseni. Ni mbona na chitana set up na yena ale panga. Umina block with a machine. And this ningamilombo mwe na Zambia. Mujombololeni. That is your brother.
Amen.
Because money will stay with him.
Absolutely.
So now kitu tuko kote kuna video na Zambia. Deliberately, it is this government that has put these policies. Baya sendaka silon. But they will have no reason why they should be doing this business. Absolutely. Because Zambians are getting involved. In Chingola, there is an area when you're driving, you see it is a Zambian. What I will say is, Zambia, because don't bring him down. Buy from him. When you start believing in each other, you think set up. No, because we are buying from each other. In Chizawombo, if you got another Zambian doing it, that's my vision. In Kitwe, in Chizawombo, in Ndola, in other places, and we are buying from them. Problem Twakatani. We do not shop. Imangana Mwisula retail shop restaurant data. There is another Mwisa. Mwisa wants to bakula mumunao. Na vena Zambia bara pitira pamuno barayo. Kutwa mumuneso. How will we develop this? But this government is encouraging you. Let's believe in each other. That's why I'm not even happy if you're going to we are closing companies for other people because there are other political players. It shouldn't be that way. They are Zambians.
Honorable, I know you are so tired. The family is waiting for you. Maybe just 2 texts you answer. There could be 2 crucial texts. I'll let you go. And there's a phone call. Hello?
Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir.
What's your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Jimmy Chisku calling from Luansha.
Jimmy?
Yes, sir.
From Luansha?
Yes, from Luansha.
Please go ahead and speak to the nation.
Okay, yes. Actually, I'm very much happy when I've been listening to your conversation with the Honorable. Yes, it's a proposal which you have just been talking to the FD of the minister. Yeah, of saying at least the government has to look into the people of Zambia. Yes, that is a very good proposal. If government can look also into that one, I'm sure even poverty will be out of Zambia. Because I can give an example like myself. I've got a company, my company is just in shaken. I repair all government motorbikes from Bongwe, Masaiti, Luansha, and part of Kapiri. You find sometimes it becomes difficult for me to have money to cover all these areas I'm talking about. But if government has introduced where they will help people, those who have got small companies, with money, which means to me also I will help government by employing other people. Though, let me just speak it in Denver so that I'm very important. Yes. Mwanaita mkusango kweva si, Ulibandi munchalo abashyasangirira okufukako tebakwate ekitobu gavumenti. But if when I go to small companies, they don't have any power, they put in an initial bandi, but then have access. Because they won't have access to have a loan from the government. But in the what access, which means in Ababali, access, never what access here, and then I'm not sooner for now, challenge is going to have something like CHIPOKA in a long year. CEC operating. No matter what we say, Chiricha Shupa. CPF operating. But what we say, the Chiricha Shupa. But the longer Mwaribaran, the Popin Mulanga, Mayapoka, that money in each district for sure, in each province, Mwabaranga, 50 million. It's very easy to Poka. Now that 50 million banks within that province. We don't go to a company. What I have bank with I said that I can't see a camera pressure. Those Morales make what a challenge. Maybe allow one using my own money and my own spare party, what about here government? But for the government to pay me, it will take time. So which means again in the Pagoda in Bombay to have a position in the manner of Shikata. Chashupa. But in the government and every on a quarter alone, then the Shinala taxpayers in stock and the government says a Makalista. But instead of the Ala to Alika, now I am away as in Quinte, put in our Felicia, Bambo over Arena, they are able to look around the family. So in inquiry, I'm appealing to the minister. Please, you are take it seriously. Thank you so much.
Hello?
Hello?
I'm very interested. Apumulela ndati to apply upoke mpia CEC na CDF chila shupa. Ndefo kuishwa shupi la pesa. Paka wati nishofu tuinga panasha. It's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Ni pesa chishupila like CEC because kanavesa icho ifafina mwalanda you are an SME. Echo na wono take the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise. We have created it for people like him so that they can get money even to a tune of 2 million. But people are saying it's difficult. I want to know nchile misusha iyo. Ndefa fe munje paka tinde yanje weba chibusa wani bapanashe. Where is it challenging? Na mpasi DF so that we can resolve it.
Simplify things, yeah.
So that we learn from you. Where is it giving you a challenge? Mkwai.
Okay. Hello?
Ndem yumfafe kuno sana kana vesi.
So like I would try to apply to CEC na nombate takati na reply here makwati lanja scout. CDF na panon delanga na makomu ndina wanaria poga na last week na leni try na kadini na kwa na mingu statu. Tapali noti ili single.
Kanavesa, what we do Panono, do me a favor because I need to know where is the challenge. What you do, I'm very interested in what you are telling me. I will learn something from you. I need to get his number.
Shikuru wa Jimmy, wa minister walefo okusenda namba yenu. Mulembe fye, apo mulembele, apo mumwenati prayers. Pali ili pako ona kurite. 0962965883. Ntumineni no mbali ne mulande fyati nene Jimmy kulwansha apape nenga tu apwafye program na wa minister na ala vapela namba yenu, he will contact you.
Please Jimmy, and when I contact you Jimmy, I will need to see project proposal to CEC if you must apply so that I look at it. Please, I need to understand where people are having a challenge so that we can move in to make it easy. Jimmy le sampai na hotel.
Mwakwate shuko wa Jimmy akwa atu minister walanda atu wala miyasuka. Honorable Minister, I'm so grateful and teva Jimmy fiawale for wafuidisho.
Thank you.
Pastor Victoria and Pastor Moses, we ran a cabinet football team And these boys are becoming powerful in this nation.
I'll introduce you to Honorable Nkandu, very passionate.
The Honorable Nkandu even visited. He came to watch the boys.
Sure.
But Munchiteko introduced Nakabi.
I need to say something, Abafiash.
Yes.
Where you're saying, put that money into the Zambian people. Abafiash, hear me. It is the same concept of CDF. Listen to me. CDF is a game changer. We are downplaying it because the opposition, who are saying 25 million cannot be given, they've seen it bringing impact. So they've spoken so much about it to belittle it to the extent that people are not paying attention to it. Limbi Chirubona Rasenda, we didn't do enough to enlighten people. You're telling me put 50 million in each constituency.
US.
Or US dollars.
Yes.
Ichilangilo nichi. Ati ushumfa patu unono, na pafingito umfwa. Aka nono na kesaka CDF. Come to my constituency, it is 50 million kwacha. Last year which was there. But if we can't take advantage of the 50 million kwacha and use it to the most, na $50 million it's the same, what you're telling me to do, Afiash, is what we are doing. Do not listen to people who are telling you CDF taile womba. Come and say, ningo da problem wapa, impia na mfumia, nala kwata shani access. That's why that message ya chisa pali ulachibusa wachanda jiyo bale tanfi ya bantu, I need that number. So I start tracking.
We'll give it to you.
Because you know if you chitika, kutundeka na tabatamshi nangu wamo. Because mnamma maini, ishi wamba mwishangu wamo. There are people at that level who are taking advantage at your vachipani. But that is not our vision. We want every Zambian to be a part and parcel of it. Today I had a meeting with people from my market, Kuchu Mpala. When I went to support, I had allowance for parliament. Therefore, I went to Mpala, Nasunga Kokalupia Kanono. Nasunga, I saved for some months 50,000 kwacha. I went to the biggest market, no go, let it be a revolving fund. Kwa capital tata, it is only 250 kwacha box ya tomato. I said, if you 500, plus there will be 3. I don't care. That's how they will know how sweet being UPND is, and they all become UPND. But others are complaining, they don't do this. Let us start afresh, so we do a good thing. So because I'm at that level, at this level, I don't know what is happening. So I'm glad in this meeting and this conversation, it is bringing me to that level where I appreciate. And that's why I'm saying, let's listen to them. So that we address their issue. But coming back to this CDF, grants are being given. Children who never had the opportunity to be in school are in school today. We are training them as nurses. Let me give you comfort. I'll give you comfort. This is a directive from the president. For you now, the media house. Engage your member of parliament. Where I come from, Mukawama radio station, for TV station here. He said the media, irrespective of who owns them, they are the fourth estate. That's what he calls them. Yeah. Judiciary, legislation, and the executive. Fourth is the media. They need support, private or anyone else. From the CDF, I'm partitioning a certain portion for my media houses. So 20 pin, they can even go and capture the projects that we are doing to support. So even you as a media house, engage your member of parliament who has been empowered with 28 million to apportion something. This is a policy direction from the head of state. This is how committed he is to the media houses. It's a more reason why he called you, the media owners, at one time at State House to listen and engage. We
went there, yes.
It is for that reason he's passionate about the media. Because in the past, you, the media, when you report otherwise, you were either shut or beaten. We don't do that. We will not, I will not accuse you to say you belong to this party because you asked me a big question. It is big questions that you should ask me so that I can change how we do governance and give confidence into the Zambian people and improve their living standards. The head of state himself, he wants to listen to issues that matter the most, not cosmetic, so that we develop the country together.
You see, Honorable, if you are a minister, and I like your down-to-earth solutions, but I always have this saying which I was taught by my parents, that simply means the president may have this pronouncement, these pronouncements, to tell you how to access him and say, Mr. President, what. The people around the president, not everyone,
Yeah.
I can categorically confirm that they are the ones who even sink the president. Not only from UPND, Kuliba Lungu, Kuliba Banda, Kuliba Kaunda, the people around the president, Ingababa, Sarafioku, Wombira ku State House, Shigulu, Bola Irakosa, Nebo Mwalela and Dafe Nabomu Street, Gavamo Nafi Atinichiru, Abashi Miamine meeting, 2 years after. And in the meantime, you've got a proposal to make to the president.
It is the more reason why this president loves to walk in compounds. People, they scorn him. President, you in the compound. Even when we lost the by election, councillor, he refused to go to over President Becker guest house. No, I will go Kunganda actually. It's a more so that he's interacting. But I can't comment much about what you have said, but we look forward to making sure that many people have got access to that president. It's what he wants himself. So anyway, I've heard your concern, and the message has been delivered. I would have loved to do this all night long.
Honorable, I'm very grateful for your coming and traveling all the way from Chingola, to come and make an appearance. Then at this late hour, that's when you are going to see your wife. My apologies to her.
And tomorrow I'm going back to Chingola.
Mubebe, each time I'm on a TV, that this is the pastor who kept my husband.
It's a life I chose, and she didn't choose it.
Yeah,
but she supports it.
I'm very grateful.
As I conclude, I just want to make an earnest appeal to the Zambian people. Yes, we are going through challenges, like the mini meal thing and everything. But I want to assure the nation, it is a work in progress, and we are not relenting. Maybe what we have not been doing most as a government is enlightening the people on what we are doing. In the past 1 year, 7 months that we've been in government, we promised the Zambian people, we were not believed that we will bring free education. We have done it. We were not believed that we will employ teachers and nurses and everything. We have done it. We were not believed. They said the Kwacha will go haywire. Yes, challenges could be there, but we are resolving it and see the Kwacha is getting normal and getting better. Load shedding come to an end. Even this mini meal thing will come to an end. All we have to do is, a problem has come in a country, let's gang together and we'll resolve it. We are not relenting and we are not relaxing until we save our people. Hard things and serious things, where say people are losing jobs because they are perceived to be this. Listen, I'll tell you something. We have seen today, even the opposition who are busy laughing at our brothers and sisters today, that will aggravate people.
Some people say that.
We've seen it many times. Me, because I'm a cadre, so I deal with them. Where you even see our people saying, Mr. Votelenge, look at this. Learn to live with us one, with everyone. Because at the end of the day now, you are forcing an arm to twist you, and then you cry loud. We need to work and move this country together in unison. This country, to build it, we have to come together. And we are committed to making sure that we work together. There is a lot of things that have to be put in place. The disaster or the damage that happened to the economy of Yash can, in a period of 7 years or more, cannot be undone within a day. But what we will do, I agree with you, we should be enlightening the country. What we are doing, why we are doing it, where we are and where we are going. It is critical and it is important. The UPND government, like we've said Zambia forward, we have to move this country forward. But it will not take government alone. The private sector and the colleagues and the country will move together. Together, we will build a country with a strong and resilient economy. Thank you very much.
The alliance stopped. Now you say the UPND government, you don't say the UPND and its alliance. You don't add that.
No, I'll tell you something. And no, listen to me. Actually, me, I come from the alliance, the NDC. So look, the president has been very categorical on that one. If I don't want to make a political statement here. When I go the alliance and everything, then I cease being minister now completely. I just try to be very political and everything. But the president is always consistent on that one. The UPND alliance will continue. But it's a government.
Okay.
So even when we talk holding somebody accountable, we say the UPND government.
But in any
so
case,
we are very committed to the alliance.
It's being led by the president of UPND. And in America, they would say the Hitler administration.
That's it.
You know, so...
So I think I'm not a miss.
Honorable, thank you so much. May the Lord bless you and keep you. And please, in all your working, as the president says, let's unite the nation. Consider the opposition. Go to their turf, invite them. Let's build this nation together.
Indeed.
So that we can live in harmony and love.
Indeed.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Dear Cabinet TV viewers, I'm most grateful to Honorable MULENGA for being with us. He drove all the way from Copperbelt to come and feature on this program, and tomorrow morning he goes back. I can only say thank you, and may the Lord keep him and bless this administration. On behalf of my wife, who is the CEO of this great channel, and on behalf of the young men and women who labor tirelessly to bring CAMNET where it is, may God richly bless you. And you viewers, remember you were born for greatness. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Until next time, keep watching CAMNET TV. Remember, CAMNET TV is not just another channel. Bye-bye.